kick, yeah.
And right now we have Miss Angelica Fernandez.
Hi.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
That's good. That's good. Let's get right into it.
Right into it. And you know why you here. You here to give all the knowledge, drop all the jewels for the real estate.
Yes.
Before we get into that, tell the people who you are. Like how you got started, your name, and where you're from.
So I got started about 4 years ago, and I was just I have a marketing degree from the University of Houston, and I just was not using it the way that I wanted to. So I decided just to get into real estate. It's something I always wanted to do. So I went in, took the classes, finished up in about. It took me a little bit longer, my choice. But I have friends who did the classes within 1 month and got their license.
So real estate license in a month.
Yeah.
Well, are the classes long?
8 hours for 1 week.
Wow, just
so 8 hours a week. That's all you need to take to get
for a month.
8 hours a week for a month.
For a month, yes.
So what, 32? 32
I
hours?
don't remember how many hours.
But I'm just like, that's all you need. I mean,
and that's the problem that we're having with agents nowadays is because they don't have the knowledge and the skills, and they're just handing out licenses like they're candy. And so when they're out of compliance, then we have an issue. And when they're out of compliance, we get into certain situations where somebody can get sued, and it's not going to be me.
I wouldn't get sued by nobody either, so I don't blame you at all.
It's not going to be me, that's for sure. So, anyhow, so I went ahead, got my license. You have to take a state and a national exam. It's literally like going into... you can't have any phones on you when you're taking your state and national exam. You can't take anything with you, no jackets, nothing. They search you, they pat you down, there's cameras all over you. I was scared. I thought I was like in the FBI office or something.
But, I mean, is it really that big of a
Yes.
thing?
They do this because people cheat?
That's all just
I'm assuming because I kid you not, there's like cameras. You have one camera here, one camera here, one camera here. And you're just nervous. Or I was nervous.
Well, I guess, I mean, you are dealing with a lot of people's information, I guess, when you're dealing with people.
Oh,
I guess going
absolutely.
through that, so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's true.
And that's a misconception that a lot of people have, is that they think that I'm going to find out their personal information, such as their finances. They may be embarrassed of their finances or, don't want people knowing their finances, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
However, I don't get to know any of that information. Only our lenders get to know that, and they're not allowed to share that with us. The only thing they're allowed to share is that if they're going to put 3.5% down, which is an FHA loan, or 5% down minimum, which is a conventional loan. So that's all I know. I don't know their credit score. I don't know what's on their credit report. I don't know any of that. So anyhow, I started off my first year with Keller Williams Memorial, and then I switched over to Remax Signature about a year ago, and I absolutely love it. As a matter of fact, today's my anniversary for being in real estate for 4 years.
Wow, happy anniversary.
Let's get some hand
I
claps for
just
that.
realized that.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so I'm at Remax Signature out by Memorial City Mall. I've been with them. I love them. I'm one of the top producers, and it's been a great move for me. I really love it. It's something that I'm really, really passionate about. I found my niche. For a long time, I could not find my niche, and I found it. I take all of my clients very serious, and I build relationships with them.
So you work with every and anybody?
I work with any and everybody.
Because some people out there with, I guess, real estate, they only want to deal with people that got money because, I know for a fact my deals are going to go through. I can sign whatever.
You know what the crazy part is that everyone always tells me, oh, why don't you go for those $1 million homes and this and that? Let me tell you something. Those houses are really hard to close. And because
I would think so too, spend $1 million.
well,
For
it's
real.
not even that. It's the simple fact that the average American can't live in a $1 million home. And I like to relate with my clients. I'm not a millionaire. So I like to relate with my clients and be on that level with them. You know, I started from the bottom, and I'm going up, so I can relate to people.
So on that subject itself, just on the being on the bottom, what tips could you give somebody who doesn't have all the money that they can try to
Well,
get
we
their
have
first
what's called down payment assistance programs for people, meaning that the state will give you money that you do not have to repay back.
and how do they qualify for that?
If they have to qualify for it, though. So there's certain qualifications. You have to be employed for 2 years. Everyone has that misconception. You have to have employment for 2 years. You cannot have a job for not like 1 month or something like that. It has to be consistent. But however, there are people who like work in the oil plants out there, like near Pasadena and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those people, because that's their job where they're always switching, there's some exceptions to those. Does that make sense?
So only exception if you can prove that you got the money.
No. I mean, you have to have money, of course.
Because you mean at first it's like it has to be consistent until you pay. But you like some people are.
Well, I mean,
I guess how they jump around. I guess how their projects.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's how the oil field works. You
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is up
Because there's a lot of people out there who work at, the plants out in Pasadena, and I deal with a lot of those people, believe it or not. And they go from one project to this project to that project, and sometimes they're out of work for like 2 weeks, but they have another project that's starting. So as long as they've been consistent with that type of employment, where you're not employed for a week or you're not employed for 2 weeks, and they have that consistency, there's some exceptions.
Yeah.
So. But however, you do have to have a minimum 580 credit score for an FHA loan and conventional loan. And a lot of people don't understand what an FHA loan and a conventional loan is.
I was just going to say, break that down for them so they know the qualifications.
I always thought it was just basically the down payment.
And it's not 20% down. That is the biggest misconception everybody has.
Y'all heard of no 20% down.
No,
That's a lot.
20% down. That is a misconception. I kid you not. I don't know how many times I've been told that. No, for an FHA loan, which you only need 3.5% down. That's all you need.
And this is for any home.
This is for
to get
any
approved
up
for
to
FHA.
3. There's a high point. I want to say it's up to 3, mid 3s, and then after that you have to go to conventional.
So is the more that you put down, I guess, does it help your interest rate?
It helps your interest rates, and it also helps your payments.
Okay.
So,
Pretty much as if like you were financing a car, the same kind of element with a down payment
give or
wise.
take.
Give or take.
But it really doesn't. Interest rates are always fluctuating. Everyone thinks, oh, well, if I go to this lender, they're going to give me a better interest rate, or if I go to that lender. No, they all work on the same system.
Yeah.
So it's just,
Okay, a couple of questions that I personally got for this interview. When is the best time to buy a property?
right now.
Like, what is right now? So every year right now would be the perfect time?
I say right now, and I hate to use this, but due to the government shutdown, our interest rates went down.
If you can shed some light on them, because for homeowners like myself, what are the interest rates?
Right now, right now I've seen 4.85, mid 4s.
Oh no, that's still too much.
Mid 4s. Yeah.
High.
I've seen people in the past. No, I've seen people in the past. They're like, oh, I have a great interest rate, and this is when they closed on houses like years and years ago, and they have like 6 and 7. I'm like, whoa, hold on.
It's time to refinance that thing.
Yes, absolutely. Time to refinance. But conventional loans, they're more. I hate to say this because when me as a listing agent, conventional loans are more. I guess agents love them, conventional loans, because the appraisals are not looked at as hard, and you're more. It kind of shows more stability, so to speak, if you have a conventional loan.
Even though it's only. What,
Even though
1.5 more percent?
It's 5% down. It's 5% down on a conventional loan because you have to have a higher credit score
To get a
to
conventional
get a
loan.
conventional loan. You have to have a 620.
So if you had to go for one, which one would you rather go for? Or does it matter?
Well, another thing that I didn't touch on with FHA loans is that there's something called mortgage insurance premium.
You do have to pay that.
What's that?
I think you do have to pay your mortgage.
You have to pay mortgage insurance premium with an FHA loan for the life of the loan,
Wow.
no matter what. And it can be like anywhere between like 100 to 150, something like that. And it just basically, if you default, that's what that insurance is for.
I guess if you ever default, I guess so. Is it money going into like a savings for you?
Yeah. Do
So
you get that
You
back?
don't ever get that back.
Oh, wow.
You don't ever get that back.
So that's just extra on your mortgage.
Exactly.
So we need to go conventional, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying necessarily. I mean, if you're my lender, who I have worked with for 4 years now, she always tells me, if you're not going to die in the home, go with FHA. Because you want to use that money to go towards like maybe your appliances, if the appliance didn't come with the home, furniture, redecorating, whatever, upgrading.
I think that would help a lot of people out if they led with that statement, what you just said. If you're not going to die in the home, go with FHA.
Yes. That's exactly what my lender has always told me.
Respectful for a lot of people when they deal with a lot of things.
But the average
Person doesn't have to hide, I guess.
not only that, but
I mean, you may think that it's only 2%, but that's a couple of $1,000 on.
no, it's a big difference.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's something to think about.
It really is, and a lot of people don't understand too. Is that I always get this thing too. They're like, Angelica, why are we offering this? If I went on to the internet and saw that it's appraised at this amount, do not think like that. What you get taxed on is separate from the actual market value of a home.
Very true.
You don't want to get. Let's just say you bought a house that's $250, and HCAT is appraising your house at $220. You want to get taxed on that $220, not on that $250.
Yeah,
So, that's how I break it down to them. But it's hard for people to understand that.
How do people protect themselves from certain real estate agents? Because I've heard a lot of real estate agents, I guess, compromise their information and knowing who to really deal with. People don't really put in the legwork. They don't really trust their real estate agent. Like, what are some things that people need to look for to know that they have a pretty good real estate agent?
Consistency.
Somebody that stays in contact with them all the time.
Absolutely. Consistency. I've had several instances where there's a particular realtor out there. I'm not going to name no names, obviously.
Oh, please.
I don't need no problems. But however, there's a particular agent out there, they say certain things, do certain things to try to get their clients, and it ends up being the same story where the agents just are not consistent. They don't follow up with them. They're not like, hey, do you want to go see houses? Hey, are you available this day? Hey, are you available that? Always make sure your agent is consistent, and always look at their recommendations.
Yeah.
For sure. Just go to har.com and see what their clients are saying about them. Look at what they're doing. Look at their social media.
I agree.
I mean, social media, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but it says a lot about you. So you got to be careful what you put out there as well.
It does give a lot of information.
It does. So you got to be careful what you put out there too. So,
That is very true.
I myself have to be careful. I catch myself and I'm like, let me fall back on this.
That's very true. I've deleted a few things.
Yeah. So, you just look at their social media. If they look like they're running around in a Bentley, come on. Let's get real.
How many Bentleys you didn't see?
I mean, I've seen agents running around in Bentleys, and they have different cars here and there, and I'm just like, come on, dude.
Well, I guess they say it's for the look.
Exactly. What do they call it? IG. They do it for the gram. They're doing it for the gram. Is that what they say?
They do it.
Pretty much.
For the vine.
The gram, not the vine. The gram.
They did say do it for the vine.
Well, yeah, that was a while ago. No more Vine. I don't think people really messing with Vine.
If y'all heard me say that, just disregard. Don't even worry about it.
So just when a person's showing off like that, they're not. Strictly my opinion, they're not serious. They're not. Me, I don't even think people know what I drive. However, you may catch a glimpse of it here and there.
It shouldn't even matter.
No, exactly. I don't care what people think I have. I know what I have. And that's all that matters is I know what I have, I know what I'm doing, you know, and that's it.
Coming from the real estate side, do you feel like everybody needs a real estate, or what should some people do before they approach a real estate agent?
As a client?
Yes. Should it be anything they should gather before they approach a real estate
So,
agent? Any research they need to do?
make sure you have your W-2s in line and in check. If you don't have your W-2s and if you haven't filed, you're not going to get approved.
For how long? How many W-2s would you need?
At least 2 years.
At least 2?
At least 2 years of W-2s, for sure. W-2s, 1099s, whatever it is that you make sure you have those in line. Your work, make sure you have your bank statements. Don't come to me with bank statements where you just put $100,000 in your bank account and it's not you can't account for it. We call that your mattress money. Don't put your mattress money in there because
why is it not? Why can't they look at that as any source of income? No matter, I mean, this person gets his money from where they get it from. Like, why do you have to prove where I get my money?
you know, I'm really not sure about that. That's definitely
It has to be taxed.
pretty much. So it has to be
I'm paying taxes on the house, so I mean, it's gonna
Nah.
they gonna get that money.
right. But where did you get that money from?
Exactly.
So it's kind of like, are
God
you?
gave it to
Is it money laundering?
Yeah.
Jesus gave it to me.
Jesus. Did. No. So, but if you do have that, what we call mattress money, make sure it's in your bank account for at least 2 or 3 months because it has to be seasoned. It has to be in your account for that long. So, you know, for sure, have that.
Is there any, I guess, when we're dealing with the whole real estate, I want to try to get everybody question, like, answer that they have, like, any type of, I know we touched on what you need for your credit being a certain score. We touched on the
So
FHA and the
580 minimum for FHA, or
And
620 for
A
conventional.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are there any programs for first-time buyers?
absolutely. There's a lot of them. There's even programs for teachers, firemen, policemen.
But are you like
Nurses.
allowed to use like one program, or can you like double up on a program?
No, you can only use one, unfortunately. But you know what? No, those down payment programs, they give you up to like 6%. They give you a lot. Sometimes there's times where you walk in a house with nothing.
Yeah.
So you bring nothing to the table.
I think they also do like rural area like loans.
Yes, but you know, Houston's growing so much.
Nothing is rural.
So
Yeah.
those are called what are called USDA loans. Those loans, you literally put zero down, and you have everything financed, the whole amount financed. However, you may have a high payment, but it's zero down, right?
Only 0 down.
But Houston's growing so much that map is changing.
Because it used to be almost like what 249 past Spring Cypress used to be like
Yeah.
a rural area, but now it's not anymore.
It's just when I tell you Houston's growing, about 2 or 3 years ago out by Hockley, there was nothing out there. Past that Buc-ee's, there was nothing out there.
They are building a lot.
And now it's just growing and growing and growing. And it's kind of scary because we also need vegetation out there.
Yeah, that's true.
It used to be nothing in between Houston and Conroe, and it's pretty much connected now.
Yes. I just went out, 2 weeks ago to go show a house in Conroe. And it was like nothing. Like, as if I was going to the Galleria or something. Now, the traffic was bad. But,
That's always.
oh, yeah.
Depending on
So,
where you-
everywhere
it's
you
just
go.
growing. You have apartments going up everywhere. I just saw that they're going to be putting apartments up there near Washington and, what is it, I-10 and Studmont right there.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting something right there. They're putting a mixed deal right there. So, yeah, at Fulshire. Fulshire's growing. My aunt just bought a house out in Fulshire, and that area is growing. And I remember, 5 years ago, there was nothing
Yeah,
out there.
nothing out there, yeah.
Nothing. And
Just
now she has
country.
a beautiful lakefront home out in Fulshire, and it's just growing and growing. And now it's hitting Brookshire.
Brookshire, they are expanding, but it takes for them forever to build anything.
No, it takes 6 months to build a home.
Well, I'm talking not the homes. I'm talking about for like the highways expanding for everything to finally connect. Like,
Listen,
It'll take a
do
little
not get me started on these highways.
Yeah.
Do not get me
That's
started on
another
these
story.
highways. Exactly.
For
Finish
real.
one project.
right then move on.
Seriously, But there's also, I forgot to mention, there's also VA for our veterans.
Yes.
Mm.
they have a loan program out there for them as well. They don't have to put anything down.
Okay.
So, but I highly recommend you put something down. Yeah, just to build.
And do the credit requirements, are they pretty much the same?
What do you mean the same?
As in, like with the FHA loan, like with all the other.
I think you have to have a certain, like the 540, I think at least.
No. So for the VAs, I'm not sure about the VA. I haven't done a VA loan.
I had a VA.
Like say for the USDA loan.
I think I really don't think it's a short credit. I don't think it goes off your W-2s later when you have a VA loan. Because I got a VA loan on my credit.
But I think I think it is a 580 though for a VA.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
It's not nothing.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I do believe so. I haven't done one, so I'm.
We gonna make.
But come on, my
veterans out there
VAs, where
listening.
are you? Come out here, find me.
But I want to kind of like put some things in perspective for certain people.
For sure.
So, okay, is $1,000 mortgage realistic?
No, I mean if you have a lot of money down.
So,
If you put money down.
what is real? Okay, for the average.
You know what the
or
funny
below?
part is everyone always tells me I kid you not, it happens with every single person. I don't want my mortgage payment more than $1,500 a month.
Is that unrealistic? Depending on the house, is it unrealistic, or is it but or what you would like to be?
No, it's not what I would like because I want my client to be happy at the end of the day, and I want them to be living in that house and not having to struggle eating ramen noodles every day.
So
Nothing against ramen noodles.
As a disclaimer, let's just say this: by far, you don't know. She doesn't know any. She's giving her opinion, people. So let's
Yes.
not attack.
This is
her on the
my
outside
opinion.
of it all.
No,
But is it like is anything? I guess what you would say.
because you have to
standard.
you have to think too. Whenever you're buying a house, the house has to appraise number one, and it has to pass the appraisal inspection, which a lot of people don't understand. When you get your personal inspection versus an appraisal inspection, those are two different things. You want to make sure because you want to make sure everything is livable. Because if it's not livable, the appraiser's going to say, "Sorry, it's not happening," and you just wasted $500 on an appraisal.
Agreed.
And after the appraisal and after your personal inspections, you just wasted $1,000 because your personal inspections are about $300 minimum.
Wow.
Minimum.
So what?
Now, if there's something wrong during your personal inspections, you can come to the seller and be like, "Hey, you can fix this, or you can contribute to what are called closing costs."
So okay. So what do you said? Nobody under $1,500 a month. I feel like $1,500 a month you can get at least something. I guess if you're single with, I guess no kids, one bedroom, one. You know what I mean?
The rule of thumb is 10%. Just think about that.
10% of the cost of the house.
Yeah, that's what your mortgage payment is going to be.
Yeah.
But
That's about what I say. That's about
It's
right.
about average.
that's kind of like the rule of thumb. So,
So I guess on average, if you anybody that approach you, anybody that's looking at real estate, what can you say to averagely pay in Houston for finding a house?
about $1,800
18.
on average, I would say, to live in a means.
That just brings us to a whole nother topic. Some people don't think they
And
make
and your mortgage should be of your income, what, 30%?
So they also, a lot of people don't understand is that when the lender looks at your files, they're looking at what's called your debt to income ratio, and you have to be below 50% of your debt to income ratio.
So first things in order, get your debt in order.
Get your finances in order.
Man.
Yes.
That's something right there. Just
You-
saying that
it
alone.
sounds-
It's like a discouragement. Feel like you said
And that's the
1800, like man.
And that's the thing is that it scares me with a lot of people is that when I tell them this stuff, they do get discouraged. It's
So-
scary.
So should not the market, I guess, be better? I guess here in Houston because I can guarantee it's a lot of people here in Houston that can't afford an $1,800 a month mortgage. That's a lot. That's all their money.
Now, I said that's average. I didn't say that was like I'm helping someone right now buy a house that's like 150, 160, something like that. Now, that's not going to be her, 1,800 is not going to be her mortgage.
Should be about 13.
Something like that. Something like that.
About 15. About 15, bro.
Something like
It's
that.
just crazy like how the numbers go, like people that like.
Because our economy and the market value of homes are just going up. And I say that very generously because I just had a girl text me and call me on the way up here, and she's like, hey, can you give me comps on my home? I said, sure. I had already ran her house about right before Harvey, if I'm not mistaken. And she purchased her home for $260. This was right before Harvey. Her house didn't flood, which you do not get credit just because your house didn't flood. So
Your taxes go up though, because I'm one of them people with my taxes high right now. Cause
have you fought your taxes?
I have not.
There you go.
I'm fighting right now.
I'll do them. I'll help you fight them if you need me to.
Definitely.
But
I need all my
no.
money.
And so just 2 years ago, she was upside down. Like her house was not worth what she paid for it. So she's like, look, I want to sell my house. You know, my kids are going off to college. Fine. Her house is now worth over $300,000.
Wow.
So that's how much Houston is growing, and that's how much, you know, the market is just skyrocketing.
New homes versus used homes.
Oh, you're going to get me into this topic.
Because I know, as a friend of mine, he recently got married, and he made the choice to get in a used home because, you know, trying to get a new home was kind of too hard, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because he's pretty much the main breadwinner. She's a stay-at-home mom, you know, and financially he couldn't afford a new home. He just couldn't.
That's so odd because a lot of new home builders offer paying for their closing costs, and that's also part of, you know, your DTI is your closing costs, and closing costs are an additional 3%.
I mean, I don't know a situation credit
Right,
score wise
right.
or anything like that,
But,
but I just know financially he said he couldn't.
You know, it's personal preference when it comes to new home versus a resale home. You know, I have a lot of people who are like, no, I want an older home because, you know, it's more stable compared to a newer home. You know, because they don't make homes like with bricks anymore.
Being a hometown blind-minded, I definitely come on my home and use new construction we got to build, but I definitely would never do that again.
Why?
I feel like new construction, I could have used my money renovating, building out some other stuff on a used home to more of my life.
But there's times too where, you know, they're almost the same exact price, and because you're going by the market value again. Because we have to run comps on houses, and what people don't understand is how we come up with the numbers that we do. They think we magically come up with these numbers in our head and be like, voila, this is what we're gonna offer. No. So let's just say I'm helping you find a home, and you say, okay, well, I love this home, you know, and the listing agent has it listed at $260, and I know it kind of seems a little bit higher. So what I tell you is, okay, well, I'm gonna go back into my office, aka my home, and I'm gonna run what are called comps. What comps are is I'm finding 3 comparable homes that are comparable to yours in regards to the size of the home, in regards to how many bedrooms, how many baths, the upgrades, and so forth. And I get those 3 homes, and I do averages of the price that it's sold for, and I can only go back to 1 year that the house sold, that the other home sold for, the other 3 homes, and how much they sold for, how long they were on the market for, and so forth. And so I get the average of how long they were on market, how long they or how much they sold for, and that's how I come up. And I say, you know what? I don't know. They're crazy. They want $260. The market value of this home is only $250, $255, or whatever the case may be. But that's how we come up with the prices. So when you have these listing agents posting up houses that are ridiculously overpriced, they're not going to get it. And that's the majority of why houses stay on the market for so long, is because they're overpriced, because it's not going to appraise. You know what? No bank is going to finance you for a house that is not going to appraise. And I will not let any of my clients go into a house with negative equity.
So if you look online excuse me, and it's a house that's been listed on there for the half of the year, then there's a reason.
Listen,
for
I
that.
have a house like that, and it's, I do. I have one of my houses that has been like that, and it's not because of that reason, it's just because of the price point. So there's other factors that go into it as well, you know. But the majority of the time, it is price. The majority. So it is.
What about purchasing foreclosed homes?
You better have some cash.
A lot of cash.
Said a lot of cash.
No. A matter of fact, right now,
I mean, like a fixer up or something.
no.
you could
A matter of
look at
fact, right now, shout out to Mr. Johnson, who he is closing on one of his foreclosed homes as we speak. They renovate them. A lot of people renovate them, and I like to tell my clients, do them cash because I don't know the condition of them, and they're not going to make repairs to the house.
No, as is.
Right,
pretty much.
as is. So if you have an electrical issue or a foundation issue, guess what? That appraiser's going to be like,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye. Sorry. Thanks, but no thanks. Thank you for giving me my money. Yeah.
That's great.
And if an appraiser has to go out there a second time, they charge you for that as well. It doesn't come with that $500 package. They charge you an additional $150, $200. I mean, I need to be an appraiser because they make a lot of money.
Wow.
And if you're tuning in, you're still kicking it with Jen Renegade on 92 Kels. We have Miss Angelica Fernandez in the building, giving all the tips and the knowledge. We're actually about to close out with her interview. If you have any questions, feel free to comment on the live feed, or just you can email us directly, or you can hit her directly if you have any questions for her. She will be on our Facebook page. We'll tag her so everybody have access to her. We about to
Kick it, yeah.